Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. क्या हुआ?
Just give me a second.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, Mother.
Because they are translation. Because they are offenders unto Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is identical with his holy name, the holy name Krishna does not manifest in their mouths.
Yes. Text number 131.
Nama Vigraha Swarupatina Eka Rupa.
Nama Vigraha Swarupatina Eka Rupa.
तीन भेद नाही तीन चिदानंद रूप.
तीन भेद नाही तीन चिदानंद रूप.
The Lord's holy name, his form and personality are all one and the same. There is no difference between them. Since all of them are absolute, they are all transcendentally blissful.
The same verse comes in Padma Puran. Chintamani Krishna Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Nitya Shuddha Nitya Mukta Abhitvam Nama Namina. That there is no difference between the holy name and the Lord. Nama Chintamani Krishna. Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha. It is Rasa Vigraha and it is Chaitanya. Abhitvam Nama Namina. It is non-different from the name. And that's why we see that if you take any material name, you won't like to take it again and again. But if you take Hare Krishna mantra for hundreds of years or thousands of years, you don't get tired actually. Ulta, you get more and more taste. That is because the name of the Lord is non-different. Similarly, the Vigrahas, we have seen Jagannath Vigraha, how they reciprocate with the devotees Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra. We have seen how Sakshi Gopal walked behind the devotees from Vrindavan for giving Sakshi. We have seen how in Pandharpur Vitthal reciprocates with the devotees. We have seen in Vrindavan so many deities. You say Radha Raman deities, how it manifested for the love for our Gopala Bhatta Goswami. Whether you say Hamara Radha Damodar temple, Rupa Goswami's Vigraha, all the 6 Goswamis Vigraha, they have self-manifested because of the love. Now, Madan Mohan, how he asked for, he says, for the thoda namak de do. Then Sanatan Goswami says, aaj namak mange, kal mithai bhi mangenga, aap apna bandobast kar lo. We have seen how in Udupi, the Vigrahas turned after 7 days when the devotees was sitting over there. And even today, we have to take darshan from there. So Vigrahas which are self-manifested and Vigrahas which are been avahan done by the acharyas, they are non-different. Like Sri Radharas Giridhari, all the temples of Srila Prabhupada are done prana pratishtha by Radharas, by Srila Prabhupada. And they are non-different from Krishna. They are non-different from Vrindavan. They have the potency to reciprocate with the devotees and take the seva with the devotees. So now Vigraha and Lord Swarup, they are not different. That has been shown in the scriptures. Okay. Read further.
Dehe dehira namira Krishna nahi veda.
Deha dehira nama namira Krishna nahi bheda.
Jivera dharma nama deha swarupe vibheda.
Jivera dharma nama deha swarupa vibheda. Very nicely it is said that there is a bhed in the material, in our body, there is a difference between our name, our body, and our Swarupa. Our real Swarupa is we are part and parcel of Lord. Our body is made of material element, and the name somebody else is given. So, but that is not in the case of Lord. Please read the translation.
There is no difference between Krishna's body and himself, or between his name and himself. But as far as the conditioned soul is concerned, one's name is different from one's body, from one's original form, and so on.
Purport. Please read the purport.
Prabhu, thoda, please. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is here in pointing out the Brahman that Mayavadi philosophers cannot understand that the living entity is equal in quality with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because
Hare
they
Krishna.
do not accept this.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna.
Read the first line properly.
Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is here in pointing out that the Brahman, that Mayavadi philosophers,
to the Brahmana.
Brahmana.
Yeah,
Okay.
because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is speaking to the Brahmana.
Okay. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is here in pointing out to the Brahmana that Mayavadi philosophers cannot understand that the living entity is equal in quality with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Because they do not accept this, they think that the living entity has been falsely divided from the original Brahman due to being conditioned by Maya. Mayavadis believe that the absolute truth is ultimately impersonal. When an incarnation of God or God himself comes, they think he is covered by Maya. In other words, Mayavadi impersonalists think that the Lord's form is also a product of material world. Due to a poor fund of knowledge, they cannot understand that Krishna has nobody separate from himself. His body and himself are both the same absolute truth. Not having perfect knowledge of Krishna, such impersonalists commit offenses at his lotus feet. Therefore, they do not utter Krishna, the original name of the absolute truth. In their impersonal way, they utter the name Hare Krishna.
One time, Dr. Radha Krishna, who was the Vice President of India, he gave an interpretation of Manmana Bhava Madbhakto Madhyaji Mam Namaskuru Mama Vaishyase Yutveva Matmanam Mat Parayanam. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji. You may kindly go ahead.
So he gave an interpretation about this shloka, that here in this shloka, Manmana Bhava Madbhakto means that one, the law, the Nirakara Brahma who is inside Krishna is supreme. Krishna is not supreme. What he says? वो कृष्ण के अंदर का जो परमात्मा है ना, उसके हृदय के अंदर वो भगवान है, उसको हमें शरण में जाना चाहिए. And that is what here Srila Prabhupada is speaking. That this Mayavadis try to, minus Krishna. And they only say about Paramatma, Bhagavan, Alakha, Chaitanya, Atma, Paramatma. They only speak this word. They will never speak Krishna. Please read further. Ataji.
Mataji, please continue.
Yeah. He is covered by, in other words, Mayavadi impersonalists think that the Lord's form is also product of Prabhuji. Can you take it? One minute. I've lost where it is. Also is a product of this material world. Due to a poor fund of knowledge, they cannot understand that Krishna has no body separate from himself. His body and himself are both the same absolute truth. Not having perfect knowledge of Krishna, such impersonalists certainly commit offenses at his lotus feet. Therefore, they do not utter Krishna, the original name of the absolute truth. In their impersonal way, they utter the name of impersonal Brahman, spirit soul. In other words, they indulge in indirect indications of the absolute truth. Even if they happen to utter the name Govinda, Krishna, or Madhava, they still cannot understand that these names are as good as Govinda, Krishna, or Madhava.
In the person.
They still cannot understand that or Madhava, the person, because they are ultimately impersonalists. Their uttering of the personal names has no potency. Actually, they do not believe in Krishna, but consider all these names to be material vibrations. Not being able to appreciate the holy name of the Lord, they simply utter indirect names like Brahman, Atma, and Chaitanya. It is a fact, however, that the name of Krishna and Krishna, the person, are both spiritual. Everything about Krishna is transcendental, blissful, and objective. For a conditioned soul, the body is different from the soul, and the name given by the Father is also different from the soul. The conditioned living entity's identification with the material object keeps him from attaining his actual position. Although he is an eternal servant of Krishna, he acts differently. The Swarupa or actual identification of the living entity is described by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as Jivera Swarupa Haya Krishnera Nitya Dasa. The conditioned soul has forgotten the real activities of his original position. However, this is not the case with Krishna. Krishna's name and his person are identical. There is no such thing as Maya Krishna, because Krishna is not a product of the material creation. There is no difference between Krishna's body and his soul. Krishna is simultaneously both soul and body. The distinction between body and soul applies to conditioned souls. The body of the conditioned soul is different from the soul, and the conditioned soul's name is different from his body. One may be named Mr. John, but if he called for Mr. John may never actually appear. However, if we utter the holy name of Krishna, Krishna is immediately present on our tongue. In the Padma Puran, Krishna says, Madbhakta yatra gayanti tatra tishtanti narada. O Narada, I am present wherever my devotees are chanting. When the devotees chant the holy name of Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Lord Krishna is immediately present.
Text 133.
Prabhuji. Nama Parada Krishna Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha.
Nama Chintamani Krishna.
Yes. Nama Chintamani Krishna Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha.
Nama Chintamani Krishna Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha.
Purna Shuddho Nitya Mukto Abhinatvan Nama Namino.
Purna Shuddha Nitya Mukta Abhitvam Nama Namina.
Translation: the holy name of Krishna is transcendentally blissful. It bestows all spiritual benedictions, for it is Krishna himself, the reservoir of all pleasure. Krishna's name is complete, and it is the form of all transcendental mellows. It is not a material name under any condition, and it is no less powerful than Krishna himself. Since Krishna's name is not contaminated by the material qualities, there is no question of its being involved with Maya. Krishna's name is always liberated and spiritual. It is never conditioned by the laws of material nature. This is because the name of Krishna and Krishna himself are identical. This is a quotation from the Padma Puran.
Text 134.
Ataiva Krishnar Nama Deha Vilasa.
Ateva Krishna Nama Deha Vilasa.
Prakrutendriya Grahya Nahe Haya Swaprakasha.
Prakritre Indriya Grahya Nahi Hoya Swaviprakasha.
Translation: the holy name of Krishna, his body and his pastimes cannot be understood by the blunt material senses. They are manifested independently. Papat.
Yeah.
Since Krishna's transcendental body, name, form, qualities, pastimes, and entourage are all the absolute truth, they are as good as Krishna himself, Satchit Ananda Vigraha. As long as the living entity is conditioned by the three modes of material nature, goodness, passion, and ignorance, the objects of his material senses, material form, taste, smell, sound, and touch, will not help him understand spiritual knowledge and bliss. Rather, these are revealed to the pure devotee. One's material name, form, qualities are certainly different from one another. In the material world, there is no inception of absolute. However, when we come to Krishna consciousness, we find that there is no material difference between Krishna's body and his names, activities, and entourage.
Somebody else can now read from 135.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandat Pranam. May I please?
Yeah.
Krishna Nama, Krishna Guna, Krishna Leela Vrinda.
Krishna Nama, Krishna Guna, Krishna Leela Vrinda.
Krishna Raswarupa Sama Sabachidananda.
Krishna Raswarupa Sama Sabachidananda.
Translation: Krishna's holy name, transcendental qualities, and transcendental pastimes are all equal to Lord Krishna himself. They are spiritual and full of bliss.
136.
Atah Sri Krishna Namadi.
Ata Shri Krishna Namadi.
Na Bhavet Grayam Indriya.
Na Bhavid Grayam Indriya.
Sevan Mukhe Hi Jivado.
Sevan Mukhehi Jivado.
Swayam Eva Spurati Yada.
Swayam Eva Hi Spurati Yada.
Translation: Therefore, material senses cannot appreciate Krishna's holy name, form, qualities, and pastimes. When a conditioned soul is awakened to Krishna consciousness and renders service by using his tongue to chant the Lord's holy name and the taste of remnant of the whole Lord's food, the tongue is purified and one gradually comes to understand who Krishna really is.
These two shlokas are very, very important. Say Ateva Shri Krishna Namadi. Na Bhaved Grayam Indriya. See, this 135 and 136 are connected. It says that Krishna Swarupa Swam Sachidananda. Krishna Nama, Krishna Guna, Krishna Leela Vrinda. And before that it says Prakriter Indriya Grahya Nahi Hayaswaya Prakasha. By the material senses, it is completely impossible to catch the holy name. But here it is said, Shri Krishna Namadi na Bhaved Grahya Indriya Seva Unmukho Hi Jivad. By Seva. And what is the first Seva that we have to do? Engage our tongue, engage our mouth in the Seva of Lord Krishna. Engaging our tongue in the service of Lord Krishna means chanting the holy name, speaking about Krishna, and tasting the holy food. By this, Swayam eva Spuritiyada. By that, immediately, the Lord which is there in the heart, Shrunuvatam Swakatha Krishna, Punya Shravana Kirtana, Hridayantasto hi Abhadrani, Vidanoti Shuhat Satam. It is said, when Lord who is inside, he starts cleaning and reveals himself. It says, Swayam eva Spuriteyada. So when we engage our tongue in the seva, that's why Srila Prabhupada in America, you see, the first thing that he did with the hippies is to engage the tongue in chanting the holy names. Second, he gave them prasad. By doing these two things, and speaking about Krishna, the Lord says, I inside the heart start doing the cleaning, and by that they start understanding. 137, please read 137.
Brahmananda Haite Purananda Leela Rasa.
Brahmananda Haite Purnananda Leela Rasa.
Brahma Jnani Akarshya Kare Atmavasa.
Brahma Jnani Akarshiya Kare Atmavasa.
Translation: the melodies of Lord Krishna's pastimes, which are full of bliss, attract the Jnani from the pleasure of Brahman realization and conquer him. Purport: when one understands that he belongs not to the material world, but to the spiritual world, one is called liberated. Being situated in the spiritual world is certainly pleasurable, but those who realize the transcendental name, form, qualities, and pastimes of Lord Krishna enjoy transcendental bliss many times, more than one who has simply realized the self. When one is situated on the platform of self-realization, he can certainly be easily attracted by Krishna and become a servant of the Lord. This is explained in Bhagavad Gita 18.54. Brahma bhuta prasannatma na shochiti na kankshati sama sarveshu bhuteshu mad bhaktim labate param. One who is thus transcendently situated at once realizes the Supreme Brahman and becomes fully joyful. He never laments or desires to have anything. He is equally disposed to every living entity. In that state, he attains pure devotional services unto me. When one becomes spiritually realized, Brahma Bhuta, he becomes happy, Prasannatma, for he is relieved from material conceptions. One who has attained this platform is not agitated by material action and reaction. He sees everyone on the platform of spirit soul, Pandita Samadarshina. When one is completely realized, he can rise to the platform of pure devotional service. Mada Bhaktim Labate Param. When one comes to the platform of bhakti, devotional service, he automatically realizes who Krishna is. As the Lord says in Bhagavad Gita 18.55, Bhaktyamam abhijananti yavan yaschashmita tvataha tato man tatvato jnatva vishate tat anantaram. One can understand me as I am, as a supreme personality of Godhead, only by devotional service. And when one is in full consciousness of me by such devotion, he can enter into the kingdom of God. It is only on the bhakti platform that one can understand the supreme personality of Godhead Krishna and his transcendental name, form, qualities, pastimes, and entourage. Being thus qualified spiritually, one is allowed to enter the spiritual kingdom of God and return home, back to Godhead. Vishate tad anantaram.
Okay, now somebody else can read from 138, few shlokas.
I think
Somebody else?
two hands are raised.
Hare
Two
Krishna.
hands raised. Two hands are raised.
May I read?
One is Sakhi Gopi.
And
Vasudev Priya Prabhu.
Vasudev Priya Prabhu, you can read. And then Sakhi Gopi Prabhu can read. Sakhi Gopi Mataji can read. Vasudev Priya Prabhu, 138, please read.
Prabhu, why
Vasudev Priya Prabhu is stuck actually. So Sakhi Mataji can start.
Sasukho nibrito chita.
Vasudev Priya Prabhu, your connection has been lost actually. Sakhi Mataji, you can start.
Yes. Sasukho nibrito cheta. Chetastad buddhastana bhavo. Hapyajito ruchiro lila kristo sarastodiyam batanuto kripaya jastato dipam puranam tamokhilo vijinagnam vasasunum natahasmi.
Translation, please read the translation.
Translation, yes. Let me offer
my respectful obeisances unto my spirit.
Who will read?
Yeah, Vasudev Priya Prabhu, your connection has come.
Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto my spiritual master, the son of Vasudeva, Shukadeva Goswami. It is It is he who defeat all inauspicious auspicious things within this universe. Although in the beginning he was absorbed in the happiness of Brahmana realization and was living in a secular place, giving up all other types of consciousness. He became attracted by the most melodious pastimes of Lord Sri Krishna. He therefore merciful spoke the Supreme Purana known as Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the bright light of the absolute truth and which describe the activities of Lord Krishna.
Read further.
Brahmananda hoite Purnananda Krishna guna Atoev
Brahmananda haite Purananda Krishna guna
Atoev akarshaye Atmaramer mana.
Ateva akarshaye atmaramer mana.
Translation. That transcendental qualities of Sri Krishna are completely blissful and realizable. Consequently, Lord Krishna qualities attract even the minds of self-realization person from the bliss of self-realization.
Okay, 140.
Atmaramascha munayo nirgantha apurokrame
Kurvanti ahetukim bhaktim itham bhuta guno hari.
bhakti mitham bhuto guno hari.
Atmaramascha munayo niragranthapi urukrame kurvanti ahetukim bhaktim itham bhuta guno hari. Translation.
Translation. Those who are self-satisfied and unattracted by external material desire are also attracted to the loving service of Sri Krishna, whose qualities are transcendental and whose activities are wonderful. Hari, the personality of Godhead, is called Krishna because he has such transcendentally attractive features.
Okay. Now somebody else can read from 141. Vasudev Priya Prabhu. Your connection is there properly? Vasudev Priya Prabhu.
Amar Goranga Prabhu wants to read it.
Okay, Amar Gauranga Prabhu.
If Vasudev Priya is reading, let him read. Hare Krishna.
Voice is
If
not
he
coming.
can, he's not there.
Okay. 141. E sabarahu Krishna charana sambandhe.
Yehi savarahu Krishna charana sambandhe.
Atma Rama Vera Mana Hare Tulasiro Gandhe.
Atma Rama Mana Hare Tulsi Re Gandhe.
Translation. Apart from the pastimes of Lord Krishna, when Tulsi leaves are offered at the lotus feet of Sri Krishna, even the aroma of the leaves attracts the minds of the self-realized person.
142. Anybody can remember this Leela? Where this
Yes.
Which
When
one?
the four Kumaras were stopped at the gate of the
Vaikunta.
Third skanda Bhagavad mein aata hai. This is in the Bhagavad.
Yes, right. Exactly right. Okay. 142. Tasya
Tasya Arvinda Dayamasa Padaravinda किंजलका मिश्र तुलसी मकरंद वायु अंतर्गता स्वविवरेण चकराते शम संकशोभम अक्षरा जुसम अपि चिद्दत tanavoh. Translation: when the breeze carrying the aroma of the tulsi leaves and the saffron from the lotus feet of the lotus-eyed personality of Godhead enter through the nostrils into the hearts of those sages, the Kumaras, they expressed a change in both body and mind, even though they were attracted to the impersonal Brahman understanding.
Purport.
Purport. This is a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3rd, chapter 15, verse number 43. Vidura and the Maitreya discussed the pregnancy of Diti. Diti's pregnancy caused the demigods to be very much afraid, and the demigods were to see the Lord Brahma. Lord Brahma explained the original incident involving the cursing of Jaya and Vijaya by the by Chatusha Kumaras. Once the Chatushpa Kumaras went to the Vaikuntha to visit Narayana, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But they were stopped from entering the palace at the seventh gate by two doorkeepers named Jaya and Vijaya. Due to their jealousy, Jaya and Vijaya would not allow the Kumaras entry, and consequently the Kumaras became very angry and cursed Jaya and Vijaya, condemning them to take birth in the family of Asuras in the material world. The omniscient personality of Godhead could immediately understand the incident, and he came with his eternal consort, the goddesses of fortune. The Chatush Kumar immediately offered their obeisances unto the Lord. Simply by seeing the Lord and smelling the aroma of the tulsi and the saffron from his lotus feet, the Kumaras became devotees and abandoned their long cherished impersonalism. Thus, the four Kumaras were turned into Vaishnavas simply by smelling the aromatic tulsi mixed with the saffron. Those who are actually on the platform of Brahman realization and who have not offended the lotus feet of the Krishna can immediately become Vaishnavas simply by smelling the aroma of the Lord's lotus feet. But those who are offenders or demons are never attracted to the Lord's personal future, even though they may visit the Lord's temple many times. In Vrindavan, we have seen many Mayavadi sannyasi who do not even come to the temple of Govindji, Gopinath or Madan Mohan, because they think that such temples are Maya. Therefore, they are called Mayavadis. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu therefore said that the Mayavadis are the great offenders.
143. Please read 143.
Atere Krishna Nama na aise tara mukhe Mayavadi
Krishna Nama na aise tara mukhe
Mayavadi ganayate maha bahirmukhe.
Mayavadi gana yate maha bahirmukhe.
Translation: because the Mayavadis are great offenders and the atheistic philosophers, the holy name of Krishna does not come from their mouths. Purpose: because they are constantly blaspheming the Supreme Personality of Godhead by saying that he has no head, hands, or legs. The Mayavadi philosophers remain offenders for many, many births, even though they have partially realized Brahman. However, if such impersonalists are not offenders at the lotus feet of the Lord, they immediately become devotees in the association of the devotee. In other words, if an impersonalist is not an offender, he can become a devotee if he gets a chance to associate with other devotees. If he is an offender, he cannot be converted even by the association of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very much afraid of these Mayavadi offenders. Therefore, he spoke as follows.
144.
Bhavakali vechite ami aila nakash kasipure.
Bhava kaila vichite nami aila kashipure.
Grahakana hi navikaya lanaya baghare.
ग्राहक नाही नाविकया लानया पगारे.
Translation. I have come here to sell my emotional ecstatic sentiments in this city of Kashi. But I cannot find any customers. If they are not sold, I must take them back to home.
145.
Bhari bhoja lana aila ana kema nela na yaba.
भारी भोजलाना आयना केमनाना याब.
Alpa swa alpa mulya paile ethai vesima.
अल्प स्वल्प मूल्य पाइले एही थे बेचीबा.
Translation. I have brought a heavy load to sell in this city. To take it back again is a very difficult job. Therefore, if I get but a fraction of the price, I shall sell it here in the city of Kashi.
Purport.
Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was selling the transcendental holy name of the Lord. But Kashi was a city of Mayavadis, impersonalist. And such people will never chant the holy name of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Consequently, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was feeling disappointed. How could he teach the Mayavadis the importance of chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra? The attraction for chanting the holy name of the Lord belongs to absolutely to pure devotees. And there was no possibility of finding pure devotees at Kashi. Consequently, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's commodity was certainly very heavy. The Lord therefore suggested that even though there were no pure devotees in Kashi, if someone was a little inclined to chant the Hare Krishna mantra, he would deliver this big load, although the proper price was not paid. Actually, we experienced this when we came to preach the Hare Krishna movement in the West. When we came to New York in 1965, we never expected that the Hare Krishna Mahamantra would be accepted in this country. Nonetheless, we invited people to our storefront to join in chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And the Lord's holy name is so attractive that simply by coming to our storefront in New York, fortunate young people became Krishna conscious. Although this mission was started with insignificant capital, it is now going nicely. The spreading of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra in the West has become successful because the young people were not offenders. The youths who joined this movement were not very advanced as far as purity is concerned, nor they were very well educated in Vedic knowledge. But because they were not offenders, they could accept the importance of the Hare Krishna movement. We are now very happy to see that this movement is advancing more and more in the Western countries. We therefore conclude that the so-called Mlechas and the Yavanas of the Western countries are more purified than offensive Mayavadis or atheistic impersonalists.
Text 146.
Ete bali sei vipre atma satha kari.
एता बलि से ही विप्र आत्मसात करी.
प्रते उठी मथुरा चालीला गौरहारी.
रते उठे मथुरा चालीला गौर हरि.
Translation. After saying this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted that Brahmana as his devotee. The next morning, rising very early, the Lord started for Mathura.
147.
Sei tina sange chale Prabhu nishe dila.
सेहि तीन संग चले प्रभुर निषेधीला.
Haite tina jane ghare pathila.
दूर हैते तीन जन घरे पाठैला.
Translation. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu started for Mathura, all three devotees started to go with him. But the Lord forbade him to accompany him, and from a distance he asked them to return home.
148.
प्रभु रे विरहे तीन एक तारा मिलिया.
प्रभु रवि रहती न एक तारा मिलया.
प्रभु गुण गान करे प्रेम मत हाना.
प्रभु गुण गान करी प्रेमा मत हाय.
Translation. Feeling separation from the Lord, the three used to meet and glorify the holy qualities of the Lord. Thus they were absorbed in the ecstatic love.
149.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, sorry to interrupt Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Prabhu, I had a question regarding this text 145, where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself finds distributing the Lord's holy name in Banaras in those days. And even Srila Prabhupada mentioned that those Yavanas and Malaysias are much better than Mayavadis. But this land still continues to be a land of Mayavadis, Prabhuji, till today also?
Yes.
Yes.
It still continues.
Because
Okay,
Kashi
thank
is the
you.
headquarters of Mayavadi.
Okay, well, thank you.
Please
Six.
read further.
प्रयागे आसिया प्रभु कैला वेणी स्थाने.
प्रयाग आसिया प्रभु कैला वेणी स्नान.
माधव देखिया प्रेम में कैला नृत्य गान.
माधव देखिया प्रेमे कैला नित्य गान.
Translation. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then went to Prayag, where he bathed at the confluence of the Ganges and the Yamuna. He then visited the temple of Veni Madhava and chanted danced there in ecstatic love.
This is what the devotees have to do. Whenever Mahaprabhu is showing the way of how one has to go in the dham and what has to be done in the dham. Taking baths in the rivers, in the kunds, is one of the important aspects of the dham yatra. Taking darshan, and after taking darshan, we should be chanting, we should be dancing, and we should be discussing the holy katha at that place. And that is what Mahaprabhu is doing. Purport.
The city of Prayag is situated a few miles from the city of Allahabad. The name Prayaga is given due to successful sacrifices performed there. It is said, Prakrishta yogo yoga phalam yamasat. If one performs sacrifices at Prayag, he certainly gets immediate results without difficulty. Prayag is also called Tirtharaj, the king of all places of pilgrimage. This holy place is situated on the confluence of the river Ganges and Yamuna. Every year a fair takes place there known as Magh Mela, and every 12 years Kumbh Mela is also held. In any case, many people come to bath there every year. During Magh Mela, people from the local district generally come, and during Kumbh Mela, people come from all over India to live there and bath in the Ganges and Yamuna. Whoever goes there immediately feels the place spiritual influence. A fort located there was constructed by the Emperor Akbar about 500 years ago, and near the fort is a place called Triveni. On the other side of the Prayag is an old place known as Pratishthanpura. It is also well known as Jhansi. Many saintly people live there, and consequently it is very attractive from the spiritual point of view.
Text 150.
Yamuna dekhiya preme pade jhampat preme japna diya.
Yamuna dikhai preme pade japna diya.
Aste vyaste bhattacharya uthaya dhariya.
Asta vyasta bhattacharya uthai dhariya.
Translation. As soon as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw the river Yamuna, he threw himself into it. Balabhadra Bhattacharya hastily caught the Lord and very carefully raised him up again.
This is again the sign of a Mahabhagavad. Whatever he sees, which is in connection with Krishna, it arouses ecstasy love. His bhav is just arose as soon. This is called udipan. What is this called as? Udipan. Anything what is connected with Krishna, he sees his bhava comes out. Translation.
Translate,
Okay.
I read it.
Okay, now 151, somebody else can read. Vasudev Priya Prabhu, your connection is okay? Please unmute yourself.
Yes, yes,
So you can read from 151.
yes.
Few shlokas.
Ei mata tina dina prayage rahila.
Ehi mata tina dina prayage rahila.
Krishna nama prema diya loka nistra dila.
Krishna nama prema diya loka nistarila.
The Lord stayed at Prayag for 3 days. He delivered the holy name of Krishna and ecstatic love. Thus he delivered many people.
Text 152.
Mathura chalite pathe yatharahi yaya.
Mathura chalite pathe yatharahiyaya.
Krishna nama prema diya lokera nachaya.
Krishna nama prema diya lokera nachaya.
Wherever the Lord stopped to rest on the way to Mathura, he delivered the holy name of Krishna and ecstatic love of Krishna. Thus he made the people dance. Purve,
153.
yes. Purve yena dakshina yete loka nistara leela.
Purvayena dakshina yete loka nistarila.
Paschima deshe taiche sabha Vaishnava karila.
Paschim deshe taiche sabha Vaishnava karila.
When the Lord toured South India, he delivered many people, and when he traveled in the western sector, he similarly converted many people to Vaishnavism.
Purport.
Formerly, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu converted people when he toured southern and western India. Similarly, the Hare Krishna movement is now delivering the people of the western world wherever devotees are chanting the holy names. This is all being done by the Lord's mercy. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu predicted that he would deliver people in every city and village of the world by giving them a chance to chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra.
154. Text.
Pathe yahan yahan haya yamuna darshana.
Pahate yahan yahan yaha yamuna darshana.
Tahan janpadiya pade prema chetana.
Tahan japa diya pade prema achate achetana.
While the Lord was going to Mathura, he came across the river Yamuna several times. And as soon as he saw the river Yamuna, he would immediately jump in, falling unconscious in the water in the ecstasy of love of Krishna.
Text 155.
Mathura nikate aila, Mathura dekhiya.
Mathura nikate aila, Mathura dekhiya.
Dandvat hana pade prema vistahana.
Dandavat hai na pade, premavishta hai na.
When he approached Mathura and saw the city, he immediately fell to the ground and offered obeisances with great ecstatic love.
Here also we see the Vaishnava Achar. Whenever you enter in a dham, wherever you enter in a temple, you should immediately do Dandavat. And with full obeisances and with love, you should remember the Lord. 156.
Mathura aisa kaila Vishranti tirtha snana.
Mathura aisa kaila vishrante tirtha snana.
Janma sthane Keshava dekhi Karila pranama.
Janma sthana Keshava dekhi karila pranam.
When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu entered the city of Mathura, he took his bath at Vishrama Ghata. He then visited the birthplace of Krishna and saw the deity named Keshavji. He offered his respectful obeisances to this deity. At the
Perfect.
present At the present moment, the temple of Keshavji is very much improved. At one time, Keshavji Mandira was attacked by the Emperor Aurangzeb, who constructed such a big mosque there that the temple of Keshavji was insignificant in comparison. But with the help of many rich Madhwaris, the temple has been improved and a very large temple is now being constructed so that the mosque is now appearing diminished in comparison. Many archaeological discoveries have been made there, and many people from foreign countries are beginning to appreciate Krishna's birthplace. This Krishna conscious movement is attracting many foreigners to the Keshavji temple, and now they will also be attracted by the Krishna Balram temple in Vrindavan.
Okay, now up to 160 we will be doing today, 2-3 shlokas, and then we'll discuss. Please
All right.
read, Prabhu.
Preme nande nache gaya sagana hunkara.
Premanande nache gaye sagana hunkara.
Prabhura prema vesha dekhi loke chamatkara.
Prabhura premavesha dekhi loke chamatkara.
When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu chanted, danced, and made loud vibrations, all the people were astonished to see his ecstatic love.
Text 158.
Eka viprapade prabhura charana dharya.
Eka viprapade prabhura charana dhariya.
Prabhu sange nitya kare prema vistahana.
Prabhu sanga nitya kare prema vishtahaina.
One Brahmana fell at the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and then began to dance with him in ecstatic love.
159.
तूने प्रेमे नित्या करी करे कोलो कूली.
धूने प्रेम नित्य करे कोला कुली.
हरि कृष्ण कह दूने भले बहुतूली.
हरे कृष्णा कान कहे दुहे बले बहुतूली.
The two of them danced in ecstatic love and embraced each other. Raising their arms, they said, chant the holy names of Hari and Krishna.
Text 160.
Loka Hari Hari Bhale Kola Haila.
Loka hari hari bole kolahal haila.
Keshava Sevaka Prabhu ke Mala Pareila.
केशव सेवक प्रभु के माला paraila.
All the people then began to chant Hari Hari, and there was a great uproar. The priest in Lord Keshava's service offered Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu a garland.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So we have done around for 22 shlokas today. Or how many shlokas around? 20.
32 shlokas.
28.
Because 138 we started, na? 128.
Yeah,
Okay.
we started from 128.
Yeah, 30 slokas we have done.
So I want everybody, what was the most important point they understood in today's discussion? Please recall. I want everybody to participate and encourage others in discussion.
Can I speak?
Yes, Prabhu.
In Kashi, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he visited there.
Yeah.
This place was full of Mayavadis, and even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could not make them to chant Hare Krishna. That is difficult. But the same, when Prabhupada, he went to America, the same hippies which were there, full of all offenses, I mean, doing wrong things. They were attracted by this Chaitanya Mahamantra, and they started dancing and chanting. That is the
Here Prabhupada says
effect
one
of
very
this.
important thing, that this foreigners were not offenders. Mayavadis are offenders because they try to minus Krishna. They say that Krishna has no head, no leg, no face. Lord does not have anything, no form. And they say that the product of Krishna is a Maya product. The body is of Maya made. And that's why these Mayavadis are very big offenders. That's why after returning from Vrindavan, and again when he visited Varanasi, he met Prakashanand Saraswati. And then he converted Prakashanand Saraswati after coming back from Vrindavan. An entire Kashi was converted into Vaishnavas that time.
Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Any other points anybody would like to make? Amar Gauranga Das Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, here the Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami has very nicely included one verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam, which states that when the four Kumaras were at the gate were stopped by the Hari Jai and Vijay, there an incident happened that the breeze of the carrying that aroma of the tulsi leaves and saffron from the lotus feet of the lotus-eyed personality of Godhead enter the nostrils of the four Kumaras. Actually, the four Kumaras were initially impressed. They were not purely Vaishnavis. They are not pure devotees of the Lord. But when the aroma of the tulsi leaves enters the nostrils of the four Kumaras, they become Vaishnavas. They became devotees. They were actually impersonalized. That is a very important that the tulsi leaves, the aroma that comes from tulsi leaves which are offered to lotus feet have got such a great power that they can convert even a impersonalized Mayavadis into a Vaishnavas. So
that's why we should always take the tulsi leaves which are offered at the Lord and try to take it in our life. Because we also have many misconceptions, misproblems, and our mind is also, that's why every day tulsi flowers should be taken from the lotus feet of the Lord. That is one of the big sadachars. We offer tulsi to the Lord and we should take it. Okay. Any other point? Harish Narad Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. So, few points to reflect, like the holy name of the Lord, His transcendental qualities, transcendental pastime, are all equal to Lord Krishna himself. And they are full of bliss, and it cannot be understood by material senses or materialistic people.
He has to do seva.
Yes.
And the seva is to engage the tongue in chanting and eating prasad.
And even the few shlokas we read about when you go to Mathura and we see you imbibing whatever Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is written here, that we have to offer obeisances when you get down at Mathura and offer your obeisances. Even the Keshav Mandir is talking about so beautiful temple which was demolished by the Mughals, but then brought back to glory by some rich Marwais over there. Incidentally, alongside the birthplace of Krishna, the temple we saw as Keshavji, I don't know whether it's Keshavji Mandir, but I think it's not there, it's far away from that place. I mean, if you remember, we had gone to one temple which they mentioned this is Keshavji temple. This was established long time ago.
Yes, outside the gate, outside the gate of Mathura, if you go,
Janmabhoomi ke bahar Prabhu ki bata tha.
Janmabhoomi ke bahar, and always we stop over there and we do kirtan. This time also we had gone with all Matajis and we had done kirtan and dancing over there just now. in a big month.
Okay. So these are few things,
And this time also in Vrindavan Yatra will be taking place on returning the last day.
correct. Even another important thing I could recollect today is like one material senses cannot appreciate Krishna, but one who chants the holy name or eat the remnants of the Lord's food, he starts understanding who is
Lord
Krishna.
Swayameva Spiritada. Lord says that I myself reveal him. I start according to his surrender, I start revealing to him. Swayameva Spiritada. And the same shlok is repeated. Shunvatam Swakatha Krishna Punya Shravani Kirtanam Vidantasto hi Abhadrani Vidanoti Shuratita. I start eating inside his heart. Lord says, Madajitta Madagatta Prana Bodayante Parasparam Kathayantascha Mamnitya Tushyanti Charamanti Tesham Sadade Yuktanam Bhajitam Priti Purvakam Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam Yena Mam Upayanti Te Tesham Eva Anukampartam Aham Ajnana Nashyam Atma Bhavasto Jnana Dipena. I inside their heart, and when they discuss this matter, I destroy the ignorance by the lamp of knowledge inside them. Yes, Akshay Gaur Prabhu, anything you want to add, Prabhu?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandut Pranam to all.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, whenever, as and when we enter in the Dham, we should pay our obeisances to the Bhumi.
With love and affection, we should remember. That's why whenever we enter Radharas Vihari temple, we should first do the Dandavat Pranam.
Dandut
To
Pranam.
Tulsi Maharani, to all the Vigrahas, and to the trees, and Srila Prabhupada, everybody we should do it.
Yes, Prabhuji, yes.
These are the etiquettes which we learn from the life of Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu shows the etiquette that you should dance and you should make other also dance. Dancing is one of the very, very, very important part in a movement. And we see in our group, the people are very less in dancing. Any other point? What about Mayavadi philosophy? What Prabhupada says about Mayavadi philosophy? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says of Mayavadi philosophy. What is their conception? What is their thinking about? What it is said? What do you think, this Mayavadi people? Yes, Amar Gauranga Prabhu?
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says all the Mayavadi impostors, they are actually the great offenders unto Lord Krishna. And therefore, they simply they will talk of Brahman, they will talk about Atma, they will talk about Chaitanya, but they will never chant the Lord Krishna's name. They will talk other philosophy, but they will not chant Krishna's name. That is
what is the fault? What is their fault? Main fault? What is the main fault?
They are offenders.
Why they are offenders? What is the main fault? What is their philosophy?
The philosophy is that they are just they do not believe in the personal form, Brahmeti Paramatmeti. They are concerned only with the first part, Brahma. They do not believe in the personal form of the Lord. The Brahmeti Paramatmeti Bhagwan iti शब्दते, तो भगवान तक वो पहुंचते नहीं है. और बस हम आप everybody can become God. I am Krishna. You can become Krishna, like that. Everybody can become God. That type of philosophy they are always preaching.
And what is anything else, Vasudev Priya Prabhu? What do you want to add?
That's all, Prabhu. Amar Gauranga Prabhu said. I was about to say that.
Vijay, what do you want to add?
Yes, Prabhuji, Prabhupada actually mentions in the purport that, when an incarnation of God or Krishna comes, they think he is covered by Maya. So they think that Lord is product of
Mayava. The person is covered by Maya. Krishna is covered by Maya. It's the Maya product.
Yeah, and like they cannot understand that Krishna has no body separate from himself. And
yes. They think that body and Nirakar Brahma separate.
Yes.
Very important.
Avajananti Mamuda.
Any other thing? Any other thing that Maya, this Nirakarvadi things or Mayavadi things?
Prabhuji also added that Vice President Radha Krishna, he thought there is Paramatma inside Krishna, then we have to pay obeisance. Worship.
Paramatma inside Krishna, not
Inside
Krishna.
Krishna. Yes. So that sort of misconception is there with the Mayavadis.
Yeah. And that's why they say Paramatma, Bhagavan, or all these shabdas, Chaitanya, Atma. They will not speak about Damodar, Ram and all that. But they'll use this, indirect references always. And the other main problem with Mayavadis is that they think everybody can be Krishna. Everybody can become God. We all can become God by merging in God.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, another thing what Prabhupada mentioned in the purport is they think that Krishna and all Krishna's name are material vibrations. So they don't have
material vibration. Material vibration.
Yeah.
That's why they tell to do dhyan on Om, Nirakar, light.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Anything else?
Hare
Kaustuv
Krishna
Krishna Prabhu?
Prabhuji. Prabhuji, can I say something?
Yes.
Renuka here.
Yeah. Speak.
Prabhuji, now
What is the
see,
Mayavadi
recently
thing?
we did the Ishopanishad,
Okay.
So in that there's a lot of discussion of this Mayavadis and the
What was it?
Nirakar, So see, even if when they want to eat like non-veg, they always say, what difference does it make? Even that non-veg that we are eating is Narayan, because everything has got Narayan. So it is Narayan in the stomach of Narayan. That is what we realize now when we did it, when we are doing Bhakti Shastri and we are reading Ishopanishad. There are so many facets that are opening of these Mayavadis. How they think everybody, you are also Narayan, I'm also Narayan.
Yes.
So, it's, if we are eating something which is non-veg, it is Narayan in the stomach of Narayan. Something like that, we read now in the Ishopanishad, in one of the purports of Prabhupada.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else? What we learn about the Vaishnava etiquettes? The way of a Mahajana or life of a what are the symptoms?
Whenever he immediately Vaishnava comes in contact with some thing related to Krishna, he becomes ecstatic, like Chaitanya
Your voice is breaking, Prabhuji. Your voice is breaking.
Mahaprabhu, when he entered Mathura, immediately when he came into the contact with the Dham, he displayed ecstatic love. He was chanting, just like
Voice is breaking.
did one drama, Corona.
Okay. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Leela Mala Prabhu.
His voice is breaking. I think his connection is not there.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji. I am able to hear. Hare Krishna.
Okay, Prabhuji, we can wind up now, Prabhuji.
Okay, we can wind up, Prabhuji.